Hello crafters, today I'm going to be sharing with you 5 Kraft Cardstock techniques for your scrapbooking, card making and anything else you want to use it for. So if that sounds fun, please like, comment and subscribe and stay tuned. So as you can see, today I'm going to be using some Kraft Cardstock. This is actually cut out of a sketchbook I bought, and the first technique I'm going to be doing is stamping with white and then stamping on top, so your stamps actually show on the Kraft Cardstock. And I'm using an all-new stamp set called Floral Garden, and I'm using my white stays on ink as well, so I just have to re-ink that and then spread it all over. And the reason I'm stamping the white first is so it actually shows on the paper, the ink. If you don't, it really doesn't shine, the dyeing doesn't really show through as much, so that's why it's a good idea to do this. This is nothing new or anything, and most of the time people do use pigment ink, and that's what I would use, but I don't have any in white, so that's what I did. And now that that's all done, I'm going to start my second layer, and as you can see, the stays on really stains your stamps. I tried washing it and everything didn't come off, and I'm using Memento dewdrop inks today, and you just want to kind of stamp them back on top of the white piece. It doesn't really matter if they don't align perfectly. Honestly, that was kind of the look I was going for. I really thought it was nice, and I'm very happy with how this background turned out. It's definitely one of the easier ones to do, but I would definitely recommend getting a white pigment ink pad instead of the white stays on ink, just so you can get it off the stamp. For the next technique, I'm going to be using this stencil. It's called Mini Aboriginal by the Crafters Workshop Stencils, and this is 6x6. Then I'm going to take some of my gesso, and I was kind of shocked it was a bit ruined, that was me, but then I'm just going to stick it down with some washi tape, and I'm going to take a little makeup sponge and just use the cover of the gesso and just dab that all over. And it took maybe like 2 minutes to do, but it's a very nice and kind of relaxing process, I found. So just do that all over, and you could use a Tim Holtz blending tool if you are stuck, but these were cheap and I had them, so I thought I might as well use them. And you can of course reuse them in the future for more gesso or any paint projects you will be doing. And now I'm going to take off the stencil. It wasn't perfect, but I was happy enough with it. And now I'm going to go back over with this with some distress ink. This is the same principle as the first technique, except using paint and a stencil, and it kind of goes a bit quicker than the other one and it's easier to clean. And I'm using a pink distress ink, I think it's called Picked Raspberry, and I'm just going to use my Tim Holtz distress ink tool and just go back over that, and I tried to line up the stencil as much as I possibly could, but it kind of moved and I kind of liked it in the end, so you know, I was happy with that. Next technique is watercoloring onto the craft paper. It gives a really cool effect, and I think it's so much more different than like using white paper or watercolor paper, and it definitely creates a kind of a more muted effect. I actually ended up adding a lot more paint after this, but this is nice, I think, in itself. So that's a good way to kind of use your watercolor paints in a different way. Next, I'm actually going to be doing a kind of ink smooshing technique, and I'm going to be using some shimmer with this. So I used Distress Inks and Ducrafts Artiste watercolor markers, and then I sprayed that onto my acrylic block, and then I'm just going to stamp that down, and it creates a nice effect. It's definitely, again, very different than using white paper, but I think it's very nice. And the last technique is actually embossing it. It's not that creative, but I think it makes a really nice effect. And if you had some nice embossing folders, maybe some like wooden ones, you could get some really nice effects for that. So yeah. So that's all my techniques for today using Kraft Cardstock. If that sounds fun, please like, comment and subscribe to my channel. And I hope you like this video, and I'll see you next time. Here's some videos for you, and bye!